Everything is fine. So why does it feel like something is missing? You're not in a crisis, no disaster, no tragedy. Your bills are paid, the people you love are okay, and on paper, your life looks perfectly fine. But there's this quiet background noise that won't go away. A low hum of something like restlessness, like emptiness. Like you're going through the motions but not actually living any of it. You feel lost, not lost in the dramatic, burned everything down way. Lost in the polite, functioning, showing up to work way. And the worst part? You feel guilty for feeling this way at all. Because things are fine. You're fine. So what's the problem? Today I want to talk about exactly that. Because this experience, feeling lost, even when life is objectively okay, is one of the most common and least talked about struggles people face. And there are real reasons it happens. Here's something worth sitting with. Most of us were handed a script early in life. Go to school, get a good job, build stability, maybe get married, buy a house, check the boxes. And a lot of us did exactly that. We worked hard, we achieved things, we got to the destination, and then we stood there waiting to feel something. There's actually a name for this. Psychologists call it arrival fallacy. It's the belief that once we get there, wherever there is, we'll finally feel whole. Happy, settled, like we've made it. But the feeling doesn't come. Or it comes for a moment and then evaporates. And suddenly you're left wondering, is this it? The problem isn't that you failed, the problem is that you were pursuing goals, milestones, achievements, checkboxes, without ever asking whether those goals were connected to meaning. Goals are external, meaning is internal, and you can hit every goal on the list while starving for meaning the entire time. The lostness you feel, it's often your inner self telling you that you've been living someone else's definition of a good life, not your own. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you were genuinely completely bored? Not distracted bored, not scrolling bored. Actually, uncomfortably, quietly bored. With nothing to look at and no task to do. For most of us, that almost never happens anymore. We've engineered boredom out of our lives so efficiently that we never have to sit alone with our own thoughts. Which sounds like a good thing, but it's not. Silence and stillness are where your real self tends to show up. It's in the quiet moments, the shower, the long drive, the sleepless 3 a.m., that you start to hear the questions you've been too busy to ask. Am I actually happy? Is this the life I want? What am I doing this for? The busyness isn't just a schedule problem. For a lot of people, it's a coping mechanism. If you stay busy enough, you never have to confront the discomfort of not knowing who you are or what you actually want. So you stay in motion. You optimize your calendar. You take on more. And the whole time, underneath it all, the lostness just quietly waits. Think back to when you were younger, maybe a teenager, maybe in your early 20s. You probably had things that lit you up. Maybe it was making music, or writing, or building things, or exploring, or asking big weird questions about the universe. And then life happened. Responsibilities accumulated, practical decisions were made, and slowly, quietly, those parts of you got set aside, not thrown away, just shelved. Just for now, you told yourself. Just until things settle down. But things never really settle down, and now those parts of you are still sitting on that shelf, collecting dust, quietly wondering if you're ever coming back for them. Identity is not a fixed thing you figure out once and carry forever. It's something that needs tending. And when we go long stretches without asking ourselves who we are becoming, not who we were, not who others need us to be, we drift. We become functional but hollow. That hollowness? That's the feeling of living on autopilot, of being the curator of your life without actually inhabiting it. Here's a modern curse. We have never in human history had more access to other people's highlight reels. And we consume them constantly. Thousands of images, videos, and updates of people who seem to have figured it out, people who seem to be thriving, people who seem to know exactly who they are and where they're going. And without realizing it, we start measuring our insides against their outsides. We take our most private doubts and compare them to their most curated moments. And we always come up short. This erodes something important, your ability to appreciate your actual life. Because your life, the real one, the unfiltered one, is always going to look underwhelming next to a carefully constructed image of someone else's best day. And so you end up feeling lost, not because your life is lacking, but because you've trained yourself to see it as lacking. The dissatisfaction isn't coming from your circumstances. It's coming from the story you've been fed about what your circumstances should look like. Comparison doesn't just make you feel bad, it makes you feel lost, like you're behind, like you've taken the wrong path, like everyone else received a map you somehow missed. So, you feel lost. What now? First, stop trying to outrun it. The instinct is to fix it fast, to find a new goal, or buy something, or get busy again. But the feeling has information in it. It's pointing at something. Before you rush past it, sit with it long enough to ask, what is this trying to tell me? Second, distinguish between your life and the life you've been performing. Take an honest look at your daily choices. How many of them reflect what you actually value? How many are on autopilot? How many are for an audience, even an imaginary one? Third, reconnect with small, genuine things. Not a complete reinvention, just find one thing that feels real. One thing that you do because it means something to you, not because it looks good or produces a result. Do that. Notice how it feels. Let that become a signal. Fourth, give yourself permission to not have it all figured out. The expectation that you should always know who you are and where you're going. That's a lie. Uncertainty is not a flaw. It's the honest condition of being a person who's paying attention. Feeling lost sometimes doesn't mean you're behind. It often means you're at a threshold, the edge of the version of yourself that you've outgrown, looking toward the one you haven't quite stepped into yet. Here's what I want you to take with you. The fact that you feel lost isn't a sign that you've failed. It's actually a sign that something in you is awake enough to want more than just going through the motions. That restlessness, that low hum, isn't your enemy. It's a compass. A slightly annoying, persistent, impossible to ignore compass. You don't have to know where you're going, you just have to start being honest about where you actually are. If this resonated, share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you've ever felt this way, leave a comment. You're not alone in this, not even close.